Business English, Lesson 1. Welcome.
Sorge nun bitte dafür, dass du ganz ungestört bist. Lockere zu enge Kleidungsstücke und setze oder lege dich bequem hin. Spanne nun einmal kurz deinen ganzen Körper an, von der Fußspitze über Arme und Hände bis zum Gesicht. 1, 2, 3 und loslassen. Und noch einmal. Anspannen. 1, 2, 3 und loslassen. Schließe nun die Augen und richte deine Aufmerksamkeit nach innen auf deinen Körper. Gehe mit deiner Wahrnehmung einmal langsam durch deinen ganzen Körper hindurch. Entspanne alle Muskeln, die Beine, den Bauch- und Brustraum, das Gesäß und den Rücken, die Arme und Schultern, die Nackenmuskeln und das Gesicht. Spüre, wie sich dieses angenehme Gefühl der Entspannung in deinem ganzen Körper ausbreitet und sage zu dir selbst: Entspannen, entspannen. Dein Atem geht ganz ruhig und regelmäßig, ganz ruhig und regelmäßig. Und mit jedem Ausatmen sinkst du immer tiefer in die Unterlage ein. Immer tiefer und tiefer. Eine wohltuende Ruhe breitet sich in dir aus. Behalte dieses angenehme Gefühl bei, wenn du deinen Lernstoff jetzt anhörst.
I'm pleased to meet you.
Ich freue mich, Sie zu treffen.
I'm pleased to meet you. General Managers.
Geschäftsführer.
General Managers. Branch.
Niederlassung.
Branch. Multinational.
Multinational.
Multinational. Diligent.
Fleißig.
Diligent. To rise up.
Sich erheben.
To rise up. Rank.
Rang.
Rank. To oversee.
Übersehen.
To oversee. Operations.
Geschäftstätigkeit.
Operations. Working relationship.
Arbeitsverhältnis.
Working relationship. Counterpart.
Gegenstück.
Counterpart. Running of the company.
Betrieb der Firma.
Running of the company. Mainland.
Festland.
Mainland. Good rapport.
Gutes Verhältnis.
Good rapport. Colleague.
Kollegen.
Colleague. Working language.
Arbeitssprache.
Working language. To grow up.
Aufwachsen.
To grow up. Bilingual.
Zweisprachig.
Bilingual. Colloquialism.
Umgangssprache.
Colloquialism. expression,
Ausdruck,
expression. To reflect,
reflektieren,
to reflect. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Entschuldigung, dass Sie warten mussten.
Sorry for keeping you waiting. The slightest,
Das Geringste,
the slightest. Just came downstairs.
bin gerade runtergekommen.
Just came downstairs. Couple of minutes.
Ein paar Minuten.
Couple of minutes. It's a pleasure.
Es ist eine Freude.
It's a pleasure. It's great to be here.
Es ist schön, hier zu sein.
It's great to be here. Finally.
Endlich.
Finally. Put a face to a name.
Sich persönlich kennenlernen.
Put a face to a name. My thoughts exactly.
Ganz genau meine Gedanken.
My thoughts exactly. Conference room.
Konferenzraum.
Conference room. To set up.
Einrichten, vorbereiten.
To set up. Right this way.
Hier entlang.
Right this way. How was your flight?
Wie war Ihr Flug?
How was your flight? Not too bad.
Ganz gut.
Not too bad. To take off on time.
Pünktlich abheben.
To take off on time. To be delayed.
Verspätet sein.
To be delayed. We were delayed for 10 minutes.
Wir hatten 10 Minuten Verspätung.
We were delayed for 10 minutes. At times.
Manchmal.
At times. Waiting for hours.
Stundenlang warten.
Waiting for hours. To give no specifics.
Keine genauen Informationen geben.
To give no specifics. To be held up.
Aufgehalten werden.
To be held up. Technical difficulties.
Technische Schwierigkeiten.
Technical difficulties. Due to the weather.
Wegen des Wetters.
Due to the weather. I can't complain.
Ich kann mich nicht beschweren.
I can't complain. Some sort of.
Eine Art von.
Some sort of. The main thing is.
Das Wichtigste ist.
The main thing is. To be with us.
Bei uns sein.
To be with us. This is my first time.
Es ist mein erstes Mal.
This is my first time. Tour of the office.
Besichtigung des Büros.
Tour of the office. It'd be great.
Es wäre großartig.
It'd be great. To have a look around.
Sich umsehen.
To have a look around. Employee.
Mitarbeiter.
Employee. Brilliant.
Brillant.
Brilliant. Initial introductions.
Anfängliche Vorstellung.
Initial introductions. First up.
Zuerst.
First up. Front of house team.
Publikumsbereich.
Front of house team. Admin.
Administrator.
Admin. Assistant.
Assistent.
Assistant. Administrative assistant.
Chefsekretär.
Administrative assistant. Briefly.
Kurz, knapp.
Briefly. To speak briefly with someone.
Kurz mit jemandem sprechen.
To speak briefly with someone. Properly.
Richtig.
Properly. To go by first names.
Mit Vornamen ansprechen.
To go by first names. Even by.
Sogar mit.
Even by. Nickname.
Spitzname.
Nickname. Formality.
Formalität.
Formality. To keep.
Behalten, halten.
To keep. A level of formality.
Ein gewisses Maß an Formalität.
A level of formality. We're generally.
Wir sind im Allgemeinen.
We're generally. Staff.
Mitarbeiterschaft.
Staff. International staff.
Internationales Personal.
International staff. To be used to.
Gewohnt sein.
To be used to. Monocultural.
Monokulturell.
Monocultural. Environment.
Umfeld.
Environment. Working environment.
Arbeitsumfeld.
Working environment. It takes a while.
Es dauert etwas.
It takes a while. To feel comfortable.
Sich wohlfühlen.
To feel comfortable. Superiors.
Vorgesetzte.
Superiors. Calling the superiors.
Die Vorgesetzten ansprechen.
Calling the superiors. To be familiar with.
Mit etwas vertraut sein.
To be familiar with. Anglophone.
Englischsprachig.
Anglophone. Informality.
Zwanglosigkeit.
Informality. Mother's influence.
Einfluss der Mutter.
Mother's influence. To explain something.
Etwas erklären.
To explain something. To account.
Erachten.
To account. It accounts for.
Es erklärt.
It accounts for. Rare.
Selten.
Rare. Lateness.
Verspätung.
Lateness. Inherited.
Vererbt.
Inherited. Punctuality.
Pünktlichkeit.
Punctuality. Who else we can find?
Wen wir noch finden können.
Who else we can find? Dialogue. Welcome.
Susan Fry is the general manager of the London branch at a multinational company. She is diligent and hardworking and has risen up the ranks quickly. She's in the Frankfurt branch to oversee the operations and build a working relationship with her German counterpart, Peter Barnes. Peter Barnes is the general manager of the Frankfurt branch. He oversees the running of the company in mainland Europe. He has a good rapport with his colleagues, many of whom he has worked with for 10 years. The working language is English. Peter grew up in a bilingual house with an English-speaking mother and a Premier League-loving German father. His English is near native, and his use of colloquialisms and expressions reflects this. Good morning, Miss Fry.
Peter Barnes, I'm so pleased to meet you. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
You haven't in the slightest. We haven't been here long. Just came downstairs in the last couple of minutes. It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's great to be here. We've been working together for so long. It's good to meet you and finally put a face to a name.
My thoughts exactly. If you just follow me, the conference room has been set up for us. It's right this way. How was your flight?
Not too bad at all. We took off on time and we were only delayed in Frankfurt for about 25 minutes.
That's not bad for Frankfurt. You can be waiting there for hours at times. What was the problem?
They didn't give us any specifics, just that we were held up for technical difficulties.
Well, the main thing is you're here now. Actually, now that I think of it, before we get down to business, have you ever been with us before? Would you like a tour of the office?
No, this is my first time here. It'd be great to have a look around and meet some of the employees.
Brilliant. First up, let's say hello to our front of house team. This is Lisa, the administrative assistant. This is Susan Fry from our London office.
Yes, we spoke briefly on the phone this week. It's nice to meet you properly.
Lisa, Miss Fry is here for a few days. Right, let's see who else we can find in admin. We'll walk this way. See you, Lisa.
You go by first names here?
We do. Everyone knows me as Peter.
Well, in that case, please feel free to call me Susan. I read somewhere that most German offices kept a level of formality.
They tend to, but we go by first names and sometimes even by nicknames. There's so many Thomases here. We're generally an international stuff, but to those who came to us who had been used to a monocultural German working environment, took a while to feel comfortable calling their superiors by their first names. I studied in Manchester and worked there, so I was familiar with the Anglophone informality.
Manchester. That explains your English-speaking skills.
Yeah, that could also be my mother's influence. I'm bilingual.
I didn't want to ask how your English was so good, but your mom being a native explains it.
It also accounts for my rare lateness. I only inherited punctuality from my dad. He's from Hessen. Now let's see who else we can find. Practice sentences. Now you're going to hear some sentences from the story. There will be pauses in which you can repeat the sentences. If you like, you can imagine you were born in England and you speak English as naturally as a child would. Just repeat what you hear and let go of all your German attitudes. Susan is diligent and hardworking and has risen up the ranks quickly. She's in the Frankfurt branch to oversee the operations. She built a working relationship with her German counterpart. Peter oversees the running of the company in mainland Europe. He has a good rapport with his colleagues, many of whom he has worked with for 10 years. Peter grew up in a bilingual house, and his English is near native. His use of colloquialisms and expressions reflects this. Sorry for keeping you waiting. just came downstairs in the last couple of minutes. It's good to put a face to a name. The conference room has been set up for us. We were delayed in Frankfurt for about 25 minutes. You can be waiting there for hours at times. Before we get down to business, have you ever been with us before? It'd be great to have a look around and meet some of the employees. We spoke briefly on the phone this week. You go by first names here? Well, in that case, please feel free to call me Susan. I read somewhere that most German offices kept a level of formality. Those who had been used to a monocultural German working environment it took a while to feel comfortable. Calling their superiors by their first names. I studied in Manchester, so was familiar with the Anglophone informality. It also accounts for my rare lateness. I only inherited punctuality from my dad.